Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today we're doing another Switch video, and this time it's a Wingtree KM17. We have to thank Unikeys, because they sent me out a huge batch of Switches, and it's been amazing to try so many. If there is a specific Switch that you want to hear, and it's on Unikeys, put it in the description below, and hopefully I can ask them and see if I can try it out and make a video on it. If you're ever curious about a Switch, and I have it as well as a board that I have, come join the live streams on Friday where I can test it out for you. But let's go straight into the sound test and unboxing, but please make sure to like and subscribe. Now introducing to you the Wingtree KM17. Now just by looking at the information of the Switch, it has a UP stem, which I would think that's going to be a little bit on the thockier side just due to the UP stem itself. It is 3.5mm travel, so I'm curious how it's going to sound overall. Now, overall, the sound was quite interesting. Like with the foamless builds, it had a little bit of like a clack to it. But then with foamed boards, you could hear that it had a little bit more of like a medium to Thock sound profile to it as well. So overall, quite interesting to see all the differences with the Switch where different types of builds will give you a little bit more of a different sound. And honestly, I'm curious to see how the Switch is going to be overall with all the things that we're going to be checking out. Now, the bottom housing itself, we can see that the leaf contact points actually is a little bit lubed. And I think overall, most of these Switches that I've seen that it's quite smooth in terms of stock wise has been Switches that have the leaf slightly lubed where the contact points are with the stem itself, and this one does have a little bit. I don't think you can really see it on the sides, but the rails in terms of the bottom housing also has a little bit of lubing as well. Now in terms of the actual stem, so it is a long pole stem, so as you can see there, it is going to be long pole, which makes sense. It's a 3.5mm travel Switch, and sorry there, just a little bit of cut to show you guys a little bit more of a closer look at the lubing itself. Now in terms of the lubing, it's going to be decently done. You don't actually have to hand lube these Switches at all. I didn't feel any scratching or any type of roughness with the Switch at all. Wingtree has done a good job in terms of that, so you don't have to worry about hand lubing these Switches. And if you ever do require it, or if I feel like it's required, I'll usually have sound tests of both. Now in terms of the spring, so we're looking at a single stage spring, and it's going to be quite shorter than other springs that I've tried more lately. It is a 20mm spring, as you'll see here with the measurement. I personally like 22 and a little bit more. This one, I actually could feel that it was a little bit lighter in terms of how the switch felt, and in terms of like overall travel with the 3.5mm, it did definitely feel short. And I also realized while I'm doing this voiceover that I had missed the travel measurements there, which I apologize for. Now going right into the decibel test. Now this is where you'll see how loud a switch can be, just because YouTube doesn't really do sound well, so I want to give you guys an idea of how loud the switches actually are. Now, these switches are not on the quiet side. They're actually going to be a little bit louder. They actually can peak all the way to like the 70 decibels, which is actually about a vacuum level of decibels. And it's averaging around the 66 decibels, which is going to be quite loud. Not towards full on vacuum, but close to it in terms of the loudness. Now, in terms of how these switches feel with the actuation and the lightness of the springs, it is very light. You'll see here, like when I'm pressing it down, you can really see that it's just very easily, lightly moving, and even at the top end, when you're resting your fingers, it will move. The top end of the switch itself has very little rattling, so you see there very, very little, but then once you do press in the switch, you will get some of that stem wobble. So it's not 100% no stem wobble at all. You will see here that horizontally, it's minimal, but then vertically, like all the way upwards, it's going to have a lot more of that stem wobble. So this is something that you should keep in mind, because if you are very, very sensitive to it, you will definitely feel it in terms of the switches with the keycaps, because I find that even with switches that have like very, very little or no stem wobble, sometimes keycaps can still move on top. Now the backlighting. So the backlighting is actually quite nice and accurate. It's interesting. It's like accurate, but not fully accurate. So you'll see here that it still looks white, but then it has a little bit of that switch color that does bleed through, and that does affect lighting a little bit. Now going into the spreadsheet. So this is my spreadsheet that I track a lot of the switches, and something that I started not too long ago where I wanted to measure out the switches for you guys. You can get access to it if you join my Discord channel. The link's in the description where you can actually try it out and actually see, compare it. And if you have any suggestions of switches, just let me know. I'll try it out. Now this one, it's going to be on the medium side. I would say that it's not as deep as like a Keybay Jasmine, but it can still have a little bit of like that Marbly clack in a foamless build. It's not too quiet, but not super, super loud. I think you will enjoy these switches. And coming from the spreadsheet, you guys can always have access to it on my Discord channel, which I'll have linked in the description, and I'll have a document section on my Discord where you can actually go in and see these different ones. I hope this video helps you guys though, to see whether or not this is a switch for you, and hopefully this switch series that I keep doing is going to be helpful for those out there trying different switches and different sound profiles. I'll have these linked in the description. You can always save 7% using the code Mikey on Unikeys, and it of course supports the channel as well. But please check out the other videos I got, and I'll have to catch you guys next time.